Hey, what's up you guys? Ben here. 2021 has brought about quite a few changes to my personal watch collection. Some watches were sold and a few watches were added into the collection. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the status of my current collection. And in this video, I'm going to be going over my personal watch collection and discuss about each piece that I own and what they mean to me personally. And for each piece, I'm going to be giving a fun fact as well as the special meaning that particular piece holds to my collection. I'll also briefly go over pieces that are no longer in my collection, and at the very end, I'll also go over the pieces that I aspire to buy or purchase in 2022. And with that said, I hope you guys are having a great holiday season, and let's dive right in. Let's first talk about some of the watches from my previous collection that are no longer with me. The Oris Aquis, the Omega Aquaterra, and the Omega Railmaster have all left my collection. I'm not a big fan of flipping personal watches, but I just fell out of love with them. The memories I've had with these watches will stay with me forever, but I'm much happier with the newer additions to my collection. So moving on to my current collection, let's start with the Grand Seiko SPGM 221. This is my go-to dress watch in the collection. I do have it on a more casual looking strap, so I do also wear it when I'm just lounging around. I got this watch at the end of 2020 to celebrate my accomplishments for that year, and this watch and I are still going strong. Next up is the Casio Illuminator. This was an impulse buy that I got with a Walmart gift card late at night while I was on a snack run. The watch was priced at around 20 bucks, and for the value that this watch provides, I think it's a steal. This goes to show that you don't have to spend thousands of dollars in this hobby to get great watches. For the price point, this watch is phenomenal. Keeping on with the Casio theme, I have the Casio Oak GShock next. This was a Christmas gift a few years back, and it's easily one of my favorite G-Shocks out in the market. I love the Royal Oak inspired design, and just like any G-Shocks, this thing can take a beating. I don't usually wear watches when I work out, but if I do, this is what I would usually wear. The hype surrounding this G-Shock and its variations has increased its price, so if you're looking to acquire a watch like this, I'd recommend that you do it sooner rather than later. The TAG Heuer Monaco Caliber 11 reference CAW211B is up next. This watch was in my bucket list for a while, and I was finally able to pull the trigger a few weeks back. The reason why I decided to pull the trigger is because I've had a Monaco in the past. I sold it, but ever since I sold it, it's left an empty void in my collection. And reason number two is because I have a really good friend, and he was also looking to buy the Monaco. So that kind of pushed me to want to get my Monaco, and I decided to go for the gray dial. The gray dial makes this piece unique, and the fact that this watch is a limited edition is icing on the cake. The Rolex Explorer 2 reference 16570 is next. This one is special because it was one of my first luxury watches. I bought it when the prices were still reasonable, and it's been great to see the price go up on this piece. I remember having trouble going to sleep the day that this watch was to arrive, and ever since, I've made a lot of memories with this watch, from going on trips to wearing it to special occasions and wearing it to job interviews and such. But quite frankly, with the prices going up, this may be one of those pieces that I may have to say goodbye to in 2022. Now moving on, this Seiko 5 Diver is the very first automatic watch I ever bought. I got this years ago when I was still a freshman in college, and it's been by my side ever since. I've had watches before this, but this is really the timepiece that got me into the rabbit hole that is watch collecting. Because of that, I'll always continue to treasure this watch, even if I rarely wear it out anymore. The watch is beat up, and it's not the best quality, but I did only pay around 80 bucks, and for the money, the value proposition is insane. I'll always have this watch to thank for my wallet constantly being on a diet due to my watch fanaticism. Next up is Bell & Ross BR05, another watch that I acquired in 2021. I got this watch to reward myself for a promotion that I received, and it's the watch that has received the most amount of compliments out of any of the watches I've owned. I guess the beautiful finishing combined with its unique case profile makes it stand out compared to the rest. I know that the BR05 gets both love and hate due to its design, but as you can tell, I'm with the former. I haven't done a formal review of this watch, but a review will be released soon, so be on the lookout. The Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 2 is up next, and it's one of my favorite divers out there. This piece is special because it was sort of a last minute decision type of buy, and generally when I buy watches, I like to sit on the watch I want to get for at least 1 month to avoid buyer's remorse. I originally had a Tudor Black Bay 58 in mind to purchase, but a gut feeling told me to purchase the Breitling, so I decided to pull the trigger on at the last second. Turns out I made the correct decision because ever since the unboxing, I've been in love with this watch, even to this day. This Super Ocean is my go-to for outdoor activities such as hiking and swimming. This goes to show you gotta trust your gut and not all impulse decisions are bad ones. Next up is the Tudor Black Bay 58. So yeah, like I just mentioned, I got the Breitling SOH 2 instead of the Tudor Black Bay back in 2020. But guess what? I did end up getting the Black Bay 58 anyways earlier in 2021. I got it as a birthday gift as well as to celebrate some personal milestones that I had achieved. This is my go-to watch for most occasions, so if I can't think of which watch to wear, I'll put on the Black Bay 58. If you want to see a more in-depth review that I made, make sure to check out the review video that I made. I'll link it in the description. Keeping up with the Tudor theme, I have the Tudor P01 up next. To be completely honest with you, I was totally indifferent when this watch was released a couple years back. I didn't think this watch was super hideous unlike some people, but I did find it funky looking, at least until I got to see it in person, and that really drove me to want to acquire it for my personal collection. The unique look combined with its story regarding a military prototype is what ultimately got me to pull the trigger. This is one of those pieces that you just love or hate. Fun fact, to set aside money to buy this watch, I traded in a former generation Speedmaster. I came out with some profit of course, and I know some of you are getting your pitchforks ready, but I do plan on adding a new Speedmaster into the collection, but I'll get to that later. This Bulova Chronograph is up next. I bought this back when I was in college. I bought it off of eBay. I got it because it reminded me of the Rolex Daytona, and I was treating myself for doing well at school. I don't wear this watch as much anymore, but I have worn it in the past to some very special occasions, to like my friend's wedding. So this is something that I think will stay in the collection for years to come, even if it spends the majority of its time in my safe. Coming up next is the last Seiko in my collection, the Seiko Series 055. I got this one as a birthday gift a few years back from my wife on the very first year that we dated, so that obviously makes the watch very special. I remember dropping hints leading up to my birthday, and fortunately she got the hint. I don't wear this piece out as much anymore, but it's here to stay in the collection. The second to last piece in the collection is the Steiner GMT Batman. I decided to pull the trigger on this piece because I wanted a Rolex Batman and I couldn't afford it. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, this Steiner is actually pretty high quality, and it has ideal dimensions. I know Steinharts are known for homage watches, but this particular Steiner is more unique compared to the rest. Also, the year I bought this watch, I was going through some challenging times with personal issues, and having this watch on my wrist did make my days a little bit brighter. Finally, the last piece in the collection for today is the Omega Seamaster Professional 300. The story of this watch is particularly interesting because at first, I found this watch totally hideous, but I did a total 180 and went from finding this watch disgusting to handsome and lovely. Social media had a big part in why I changed my mind. It's honestly because some of you guys that take amazing pictures, And over time, I've grown accustomed to like the helium escapement valve and the unique bracelet design of the Seamaster Professional. Anyway, I got this watch as a graduation gift to myself, so this is a piece that I would like to keep and pass down to future generations. By no means is this a perfect watch, but its iconic status combined with its ideal dimensions, it's a keeper for me. So that was all the watches in my current collection, but as you guys all know, as a watch enthusiast, there's always going to be the next couple pieces that you're going to want to add. So for the upcoming year of 2022, I have 3 watches in mind at the moment. One of them is a dress watch. It's the Longines Silver Arrow. This is, in my opinion, it's pretty underrated. I know a lot of people talk about the Longines Sector Dial all the time, but this one caught my eye recently, and I'm thinking of adding it into my collection sometime soon. And the second one is a diver's watch. It's the Oris Aquis. I've had an Oris Aquis in my previous collection. As you know, as I said it earlier in the video, I sold it. But I do want to add back the Oris Aquis caliber 400 with the green dial, the 41.5mm version. I think it's really attractive, and I think it'll be nice to add a green dial diver, especially from Oris, back into the collection. And last but not least, I want to add an Omega Speedmaster into the collection. I've had a Speedmaster in the past. It was a previous generation, but I do want to add the new generation Speedmaster with the updated movement. And guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And let me know, did you guys add any new watches to your collection this year? If not, do you plan on adding any new watches in the next upcoming year? I'd love to know. As always, I really appreciate you guys for making it to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Happy holidays.